Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're diving into the tangled web of secrets, betrayals, and high-stakes confrontations in General Hospital. This week is packed with shocking revelations, unexpected twists, and drama that will shake Port Charles to its core. Buckle up, because you won't want to miss a second of what's coming. Sasha's explosive confession, the truth that could change everything. For months, Sasha has carried the burden of a massive lie. She allowed the world to believe that Jason was the father of her child, a deception born out of desperation and necessity. But the truth is far messier. Michael is the real father, and the consequences of revealing this could be catastrophic. At first, Sasha convinced herself that keeping the secret was for the best. She wanted to protect Michael from losing his family with Willow, and in some ways, she convinced herself that Jason playing the role of father was a safer choice. But lies have a way of catching up with people, and the walls are closing in on Sasha. Every time she sees Michael, every time she watches him interact with Willow and the kids, the guilt gnaws at her. The big question is, who will she tell first? If she confesses to Michael, she risks shattering his carefully built life. If she tells Willow, she risks the mother of his children making the decision for him. And then there's Jason. What happens when he finds out he's been used as a cover? The fallout from this revelation could ripple through the entire town, causing irreparable damage to relationships, friendships, and family bonds. But the truth has a way of coming out, and the moment of reckoning is near. Lulu's shocking realization, a past that refuses to stay buried. While Sasha grapples with her personal turmoil, Lulu is facing a revelation that leaves her reeling. After spending so long in a coma, she's been desperately trying to catch up with everything she's missed. But some truths are harder to process than others, and this one threatens to shake her to her core. Cyrus was more than just a ruthless criminal. He was the man who tried to kill her while she lay helpless in a hospital bed. For Lulu, the realization is suffocating. He had already caused enough destruction in her family, hurting Lucky in ways she may never fully comprehend. But the final, gut-wrenching blow? The knowledge that he was also responsible for Sam's murder. The more she learns, the more her fury grows. Sam didn't deserve to die. She was just trying to help, extending Lulu's life through a good deed that should have been rewarded, not punished. The weight of it all crashes over her, and she knows she can't sit idly by. But what will she do? Lulu has never been one to back down from a fight, and if she decides to seek justice, or worse, revenge, there's no telling what she might do next. Brennan's desperate cover-up, can he control the fallout? As the truth about Cyrus's death starts to spread, Brennan finds himself in an increasingly precarious position. Jocelyn's actions have thrown everything into chaos. She managed to obtain the location of Cyrus's lair from one of Brennan's associates, and what she did with that information is now a massive liability. Cyrus is dead, and while many may see that as a cause for celebration, Brennan knows better. Loose ends are dangerous. People will start asking questions. He has to get ahead of this before it spirals out of control. The first step? Deciding how to handle the people closest to the situation. Anna and Carly are already circling, their instincts telling them that something isn't adding up. Will Brennan try to manipulate the narrative, spinning a story that keeps him in the clear? Or will he take more drastic measures to ensure that the truth never sees the light of day? If history has taught us anything, it's that Brennan is a man who values control, and he won't let this situation slip through his fingers without a fight. Anna's shocking news, Dante's search for closure. Just when Dante thought he had moved past the worst of it, Anna drops a bombshell. Cyrus has been caught and killed. For Dante, this isn't just another criminal taken off the board. This is personal. This is the man who murdered Sam, the woman he loved, the person he thought he would spend the rest of his life with. Her death left a gaping wound that time hasn't fully healed, and now, he finally has the closure he's been waiting for. But does closure ever really come? He thought he'd feel relief, satisfaction, maybe even a sense of justice. Instead, he feels empty. Sam is still gone. No amount of revenge or justice can bring her back. He wonders what she would have wanted. Would she have wanted Cyrus dead, or would she have wanted something more? As Dante grapples with these emotions, another question lingers in the background: what happens now? Does he finally move on, allow himself to truly heal? Or does this open up old wounds, dragging him down into a spiral he might not be able to escape? Drew versus Jason, the feud that refuses to die. And now, the confrontation we've all been waiting for, Drew and Jason. These two have been circling each other for weeks, tension simmering just beneath the surface, and now it's all coming to a head. Drew is convinced he's already built his perfect family, that Willow and the kids belong to him, and he's made no secret of his belief that he's the one holding it all together. In his mind, this isn't just wishful thinking, it's reality. He even had the nerve to refer to them as our kids, solidifying his belief that this is the life he deserves. Meanwhile, Jason has his own mess to deal with. He's tangled up in Sasha's deception, allowing the world to believe he's the father of her child, a role he never agreed to but now finds himself unwillingly playing. The collision was inevitable. When they finally come face to face, the air is thick with tension. Will this be a battle of words, filled with accusations and unresolved resentments? Or will it turn physical, like it has before? Jason has beaten Drew to a pulp once before. Will history repeat itself? Jason, for his part, has claimed he wants peace. But peace is a fragile thing, and in a town like Port Charles, it rarely lasts. Final thoughts: the storm is far from over. As the dust settles, one thing is clear: Port Charles is a powder keg, ready to explode. With Sasha's confession looming, Lulu's thirst for justice growing, Brennan's cover-up unfolding, and Drew and Jason's feud reaching new heights, the drama is far from over. What do you guys think will happen next? Will Sasha's secret tear Michael's life apart? Will Lulu go down a dark path? And what about Drew and Jason? Will they finally put their differences aside, or is this just the beginning of another all-out war? Next, we have a thrilling breakdown of the latest shocking events from General Hospital. The tension in Port Charles has never been higher, and after last night's episode, fans are left with more questions than answers. Buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into the chaos, tragedy, and unexpected twists that unfolded. Did you see that coming? Jocelyn takes matters into her own hands. The unthinkable has happened, and General Hospital has once again delivered a moment that left everyone speechless. Jocelyn Jacks, the once carefree young woman with a heart of gold, has just committed an act that will change her life forever. In a dramatic showdown, she found herself face to face with the town's most dangerous menace, Cyrus Renaud. The cabin, which had been the center of so much mystery, became a scene of horror when she uncovered something chilling: a collection of medical bracelets belonging to the victims of Cyrus Digitalis attacks. It was proof that he had been orchestrating this reign of terror all along. But before she could even process what she had found, he appeared in the doorway, a cold and calculated predator. Armed with an axe, he had every intention of making Joss his next victim. What he didn't expect, however, was for her to be prepared. In a moment of sheer adrenaline and desperation, she pulled out Dex's gun and fired. The shot rang through the cabin, and just like that, Cyrus fell to the floor, his reign of terror finally over. Yet even in his final moments, he had the audacity to turn the tables, uttering words that will haunt Jocelyn forever: "You're the murderer now." The weight of what she had done settled in immediately. Was this justice, or had she just sealed her fate? In a panic, with no one else to turn to, she made one desperate call, to Brennan. But what exactly does that mean for her future? Lucky's fate hangs in the balance. While Jocelyn was staring down the barrel of her own crisis, the fate of another beloved character was unfolding at General Hospital. The battle for Lucky Spencer's life was being fought with every second that passed. After being injected with a lethal dose of Digitalis, he collapsed, unconscious, as chaos erupted around him. Elizabeth Weber, whose years as a nurse had prepared her for emergencies, wasted no time. She called 911, initiated CPR, and refused to give up on the man who had already been through so much. As the news spread like wildfire through Port Charles, emotions ran high. Laura Spencer, Lucky's mother, received the devastating call from Elizabeth, while Anna Devane was informed in the middle of a work call. For a brief moment, it felt like history was repeating itself. Another Spencer, another tragedy, another race against time. Then came the most crucial moment of all. Isaiah, the skilled doctor who had just rushed onto the scene, didn't hesitate. As soon as he was briefed, he identified the poison as Digitalis and immediately retrieved the counterdrug. But was he too late? The moment of truth, Isaiah faces Lucky's family. Hospitals have witnessed countless life-changing moments, and for the Spencer family, this was one of them. As Lucky lay in his hospital bed, a machine rhythmically beeping beside him, his loved ones began to gather. Lulu Spencer, Dante Falconeri, and Aidan Weber all arrived, their eyes filled with fear and uncertainty. They had seen Lucky survive against the odds before, but would this be the battle he couldn't win? Isaiah, now carrying the burden of knowledge, approached them. This was the moment of truth. He had to tell them whether Lucky had survived or if they were about to say their final goodbyes. The tension in the air was suffocating. Adding to the suspense, the preview for February 21st teased a gut-wrenching scene, Lucky flatlining. Could this be the end of one of Port Charles's most iconic characters? Or will he miraculously pull through once again? Cyrus' reign of terror, a legacy of destruction. While the immediate crisis was focused on Lucky, there was no denying that the real root of all this chaos had been Cyrus. His actions had terrorized Port Charles, leaving a trail of devastation that few could ever recover from. He had orchestrated the Digitalis poisonings, he had ruined lives, and he had nearly claimed another innocent victim in Jocelyn. But his story ended in the most ironic way possible, by the very violence he had inflicted on others. His death, however, raises more questions than it answers. Jocelyn may have pulled the trigger, but is this truly over? With a man like Cyrus, there are always loose ends, always unanswered questions, always unfinished business. And let's not forget, Jocelyn's life has now changed forever. Killing a man, even in self-defense, is not something that disappears overnight. What will this mean for her future? Could the guilt consume her? Or worse, could someone try to twist the story against her? What happens next? The fallout begins. With Cyrus gone, the ripple effect across Port Charles is inevitable. Some will feel relief, others will feel anger, and many will still be searching for answers. Meanwhile, Lucky's fate remains uncertain, and the people closest to him are left to wait with bated breath. As for Jocelyn, the biggest question of all remains, will she be able to live with what she's done? And more importantly, will Port Charles? One thing is for sure, General Hospital just took its drama to an entirely new level, and the aftershocks will be felt for weeks to come. Final thoughts, your predictions. So what do you guys think? Will Lucky survive, or is this the end of the road for him? Will Jocelyn face legal consequences for killing Cyrus, or will this be ruled as self-defense? And what about Brennan? Why was he the first person Jocelyn called, and what does that mean for their dynamic moving forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's discuss what this means for Port Charles and what shocking twists might be coming next. Next, we're diving into an absolutely explosive episode of General Hospital. If you thought things were intense before, brace yourselves, because the drama has reached a whole new level. With shocking confessions, life and death stakes, and a final confrontation that will have consequences for months to come, this episode gave us everything we love about General Hospital, and then some. Let's break it all down. A heart-stopping cliffhanger, Lucky's life hangs by a thread. The episode left us gasping for air as Lucky Spencer's fate took center stage. At General Hospital, doctors and nurses scrambled to save his life, with Jordan and Isaiah working against the clock, resorting to drastic measures to bring him back. The paddles came out, electric shocks filled the room, and his loved ones were forced to watch helplessly, unable to do anything but hope that he'd pull through. Nearby, Laura Spencer was already bracing for the worst. Her son was slipping away, and Aiden, overwhelmed with emotion, delivered the most gut-wrenching line of the night, "Dad is dying." Those 3 words echoed through the hospital like a cruel prophecy, breaking the hearts of everyone in the room. Meanwhile, tension ran high outside of Lucky's hospital room. The past was colliding with the present as Dante Falconeri, fueled by pure rage, declared his intentions to track Cyrus down. "He can run," Dante growled at Anna, "but there is no way that bastard can hide." His thirst for justice was palpable, and Anna didn't stop him. After all, someone had to put an end to this nightmare once and for all. But Lucky's battle wasn't just playing out in the hospital, it was part of a larger, darker puzzle. And that puzzle was about to unravel in the most terrifying way possible. Jocelyn's fatal decision, a monster finally falls. At the heart of it all, Jocelyn Jacks found herself standing face to face with pure evil. She had broken into Austin's secluded cabin, desperate to find answers, but what she uncovered was more horrific than she ever imagined. An envelope lay before her, filled with hospital bracelets, each one representing a soul that Cyrus had claimed in his twisted, demented mission. Among them were names that sent a chill down her spine: Sam McCall, Dex Heller, the people Cyrus had already destroyed. And then, the unthinkable happened. Cyrus Renaud, the man responsible for all this carnage, appeared in the doorway, his presence like a shadow of death looming over her. Cold, calculating, and unwavering in his mission, he barely reacted to her horror. Instead, he grabbed an axe from outside and brandished it menacingly, making it clear that she was next. Jocelyn had no choice. No time to think. No time to second-guess. She pulled out Dex's gun, her hands shaking as she aimed at the monster before her. Cyrus charged at her, his intentions clear, he wouldn't stop until she was gone. But Joss wasn't about to become another one of his victims. She pulled the trigger, and the bullet found its mark. Cyrus collapsed to the ground, his life slipping away with every second. But in true villainous fashion, his final words weren't of regret or fear, they were meant to haunt Jocelyn forever. "You're a murderer now, too." A suffocating silence filled the cabin. Joss, stunned by what she had done, slowly approached his motionless body, nudging his leg with her foot just to be sure. No pulse. It was over. Or was it? The aftermath, what happens now? In that moment, Joss knew that her life had just changed forever. Killing a man, even a man as dangerous as Cyrus, was something that would follow her for the rest of her life. With trembling fingers, she reached for her phone and called the only person she trusted to handle this, Jack. When he arrived at the scene, he surveyed the chaos around him. The blood, the evidence, the weight of the decision that Joss had just made. And then, he presented her with a choice, one that could change the course of her life forever. "We can contact the authorities," he told her, "or we can take care of this ourselves." That question hung in the air, unanswered. A twisted revelation, Laura confronts the truth about Cyrus. Meanwhile, at the hospital, as doctors worked tirelessly to save Lucky's life, Laura was reeling from another horrifying revelation. Liz sat with her, gently breaking the news of what Cyrus had been doing all this time. The truth was almost too much to bear. Cyrus, driven by a warped sense of divine purpose, believed he was on a mission from God. He thought he was saving people, releasing souls trapped between life and death. It was sick. It was insane. And it had left nothing but pain and destruction in its wake. But the most shocking part? Cyrus had tried to save Lulu too. In his deluded mind, he thought he was doing her a favor, only to end up causing her liver failure in the process. Laura, devastated, could barely process it. The tears came before she could stop them as she cried out, "Lulu?" Liz's face was filled with sorrow as she confirmed what Laura already feared. Yes. Lulu was another one of Cyrus' victims. And now, Lucky was lying on an operating table, his fate uncertain. The final chase, a manhunt begins. While emotions ran high at General Hospital, the hunt for Cyrus was officially on. A call came in from an officer stationed at Liz's house. Cyrus had been spotted heading toward the woods outside of Port Charles. But why? What was there? Dante and Anna knew they didn't have time to sit around asking questions. To hell with protocol, Dante snapped, his voice filled with barely contained rage. "I'm going to find the bastard." Anna simply nodded. At this point, they needed all the help they could get. But they didn't know yet. They didn't know that Jocelyn had already found him. That she had already pulled the trigger. That the chase was over before it had even truly begun. What comes next? The fallout begins. With Cyrus dead, his reign of terror may have ended, but the consequences of his actions will be felt for a long time. Jocelyn's life has changed forever, and the weight of what she's done will only grow heavier in the days to come. Will she tell the truth? Or will Jack help her bury it? Meanwhile, at General Hospital, all eyes are on Lucky. Will he survive? Or has Cyrus claimed one final victim from beyond the grave? And let's not forget Dante, whose thirst for justice remains unquenched. When he finds out what Joss did, will he understand? Or will he see her as no better than the man she killed? One thing is for certain, General Hospital has just delivered one of its most jaw-dropping episodes yet. And the drama is far from over. Final thoughts, what do you think? What do you guys think will happen next? Will Lucky survive, or is this truly the end? Will Jocelyn face justice, or will she take the secret to her grave? And what about Laura, how will she cope with the devastating truth about her brother? Next, we're diving deep into the latest shocking twists on General Hospital. If you thought the drama in Port Charles had already peaked, think again, because this episode delivered jaw-dropping moments that left us on the edge of our seats. From life-or-death struggles to a potential final showdown, there is so much to unpack. Let's break it all down. Is Cyrus Renaud finally meeting his end? For months, Cyrus Renaud has been a looming shadow over Port Charles, wreaking havoc and leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. But his time might finally be running out. After his shocking attack on Lucky Spencer, where he injected him with Digitalis, he disappeared into the night, likely heading straight back to Austin's secluded cabin. The timing of his retreat couldn't be more suspicious, and there's reason to believe that Jocelyn Jacks has tracked him down. If the call Brennan received was indeed about Joss discovering Cyrus' hideout, then we might be looking at the final confrontation. Joss took matters into her own hands after Trina left to meet Kai, and her determination to put an end to Cyrus' reign of terror might come at a heavy price. A leaked photo has been making rounds, showing Cyrus standing in the doorway of the cabin, his expression menacing as he stares down Jocelyn. The tension in that moment is palpable. Joss is in danger, and Cyrus has nothing left to lose. The big question is, will Brennan arrive in time to save her? Given the setup, it's entirely possible that Brennan, after leaving his evening with Carly, is racing toward the cabin as we speak. If he gets there before things take a tragic turn, we might finally see Cyrus meet his fate. Fans had speculated that his storyline would culminate in a high-stakes whodunit mystery leading into the May sweeps, but with February sweeps coming to a close, it seems like the writers are choosing a different route. Will they wrap up this storyline sooner than expected, or does Cyrus have one last trick up his sleeve? Cyrus' reign of terror, will he claim another victim? There's been growing speculation about how many lives Cyrus has truly destroyed. We know that Dex and Sam both fell victim to his poison, but is Lucky about to be the next name on that list? Cyrus' sadistic methods make it difficult to predict what comes next, but one thing is clear, if Lucky doesn't get immediate medical attention, he could suffer the same grim fate. But if history has taught us anything, it's that General Hospital loves to keep us guessing. Just when we think a character is about to meet their demise, the writers find a way to pull them back from the brink. Will Lucky be another one of those cases? Or will Cyrus' final act of violence push Port Charles into chaos? The idea of Cyrus taking one last victim before his downfall would certainly raise the stakes, making his takedown all the more satisfying. But could the writers really go there? Or is his end already sealed? Elizabeth's desperate plea, can she save Lucky? The cliffhanger that left us all breathless centered around Lucky's life hanging in the balance. After a chaotic physical struggle between Lucky and Cyrus, Elizabeth found herself in a desperate race against time. While she managed to escape unscathed, the same couldn't be said for Lucky, who suffered a devastating blow when Cyrus plunged the syringe of digitalis into his thigh. Elizabeth's immediate reaction was one of pure terror. She wasted no time calling for help, but as the seconds ticked by, she knew she had to act fast. Lucky was slipping away, his body succumbing to the poison's effects, and all she could do was plead with him to hold on. The preview for the upcoming episode only heightened our fears, showing Elizabeth in tears, begging Lucky to fight. But with digitalis coursing through his veins, what are his chances of survival? If there's one glimmer of hope, it's that we do know that Lucky isn't leaving Port Charles permanently. With Jonathan Jackson's return being temporary, Guy Wilson has stepped in to take over for a few episodes. But what does that mean for Lucky's fate? Will he survive, only to face a long road to recovery? Or will his near-death experience spark an entirely new storyline that changes his future forever? One thing's for sure, Elizabeth and Lucky's long history has never felt more significant than it does right now. And with a tender moment hinted at in upcoming episodes, could this be the beginning of something more for them? A love story interrupted, Lucky and Elizabeth's long-awaited kiss. Despite all the chaos, there was one moment that caught fans by surprise, Lucky and Elizabeth sharing their first kiss since his return. With everything going on, their relationship has been the last thing on anyone's mind, but now, it seems like fate has brought them back together. However, what should have been a moment of rekindled love was overshadowed by the dire situation at hand. Lucky's life is now hanging by a thread, and Elizabeth is left grappling with the horrifying thought that she might lose him all over again. Their love story has been one of the most emotional in General Hospital history. They've been through tragedy, heartbreak, and loss, yet they always seem to find their way back to each other. But is this really their happy ending, or is this just the calm before another storm? With Lucky's condition uncertain, the writers have left us in the dark about what comes next. But one thing is clear, Elizabeth isn't giving up on him, no matter what it takes. Final thoughts, what happens next in Port Charles? With everything that has happened, we are left with more questions than answers. Will Lucky survive, or will Cyrus claim one final victim? Will Brennan reach the cabin in time to save Jocelyn, or is she about to become another casualty in Cyrus' twisted game? Will Cyrus' final moments be one of redemption, or will he die as he lived, a man consumed by darkness? With February sweeps wrapping up, the writers have plenty of opportunities to shake things up. Whether we're getting a shocking murder mystery or a dramatic final showdown, one thing is for sure, Port Charles is about to change forever. Next, we're diving into an inspiring and heartwarming story from General Hospital. While the show is filled with intense drama and emotional turmoil, one actress has her real-life priorities set straight. We're talking about Alexa Havens, who has stepped into the role of Lulu Spencer, bringing an incredible depth to a character who has been through unimaginable struggles. But what's even more fascinating is how Havens manages her life off-screen. So let's get into it. Alexa Havens and her unexpected return to acting. For years, fans knew Alexa Havens as an actress who had gracefully stepped away from the entertainment industry. She had seemingly left that chapter behind, choosing instead to focus on her family and personal life. However, General Hospital brought her back in a major way, and it's clear that her return to television has been nothing short of a triumph. Portraying Lulu Spencer, a character who has just emerged from a years-long coma, Havens has seamlessly stepped into one of the most emotionally demanding roles on daytime television. Lulu's journey of rediscovery, heartbreak, and resilience has captivated audiences, making her comeback one of the most talked-about storylines on the show. But as intense as Lulu's on-screen life is, Alexa Havens has found balance in a way that few Hollywood actors managed to achieve. A love story that started on set. Havens' real-life love story is just as cinematic as any soap opera romance. She met her husband, Justin Bruning, when they both worked on All My Children. Sparks flew, and by 2005, they had tied the knot. Unlike many Hollywood couples who struggle with the pressures of fame and demanding careers, Havens and Bruning prioritized something even greater, their family. In an industry where relationships often take a back seat to ambition, Havens and Bruning made a conscious decision to put their marriage and children first. Their story is a refreshing departure from the typical Hollywood narrative, proving that love and family can thrive even in the fast-paced world of entertainment. Prioritizing family over career, a bold decision. At the height of her acting career, Havens made a bold and somewhat unexpected choice. She retired from acting to focus entirely on her family. She and Bruning had started a family together, and as their responsibilities as parents grew, so did their desire to be present for every moment. Havens explained in a recent interview that stepping away from acting seemed like the right thing to do. While many actresses struggle to balance work and motherhood, she found herself unable to shake the feeling that she was missing too much when she was away from her children. Her husband, Justin, was working more at the time, and instead of maintaining separate professional lives that kept them apart, they made a powerful decision to travel together and keep their family unit strong. This commitment to togetherness was the foundation of their happy marriage and their well-adjusted children. The rule that keeps their marriage strong. Hollywood relationships are often plagued by long-distance struggles, conflicting schedules, and time spent apart. However, Havens and Bruning created a simple but effective rule that has been the key to their lasting happiness. They set a limit on how much time they are willing to be apart. This self-imposed boundary ensures that they never spend too much time away from one another, reinforcing their bond and keeping their family unit intact. Their approach is unconventional in the entertainment industry but has worked wonders for them, proving that sometimes, stepping away from the spotlight can be the best decision for personal fulfillment. A team effort, Bruning's role in the family. When Havens made her return to acting, she wasn't doing it alone, she had the full support of her husband. In fact, Bruning has taken on an incredibly active role in their household, proving that parenting and marriage work best when they're truly a partnership. Havens couldn't help but gush about how involved her husband is in their daily lives. "He's my childcare, our substitute teacher since we homeschool, and my professional line reader," she shared. It's clear that Bruning doesn't just support his wife, he's an essential part of making everything work seamlessly. And let's not forget about their hilarious at-home acting rehearsals. Havens described bringing home massive stacks of scripts, dropping them in front of Bruning, and demanding, "All right, let's do this. Let's run these lines." But instead of just reading with her like a reluctant partner, he fully embraces the process, playing different characters with gusto. His favorite? Tracy Quartermaine. Apparently, he goes deep into character, bringing out all the emotional intensity that Tracy is known for. Now, that's dedication. Alexa Havens, the actress, the wife, the mother. Balancing a thriving career with a rich personal life is no easy feat, but Alexa Havens makes it look effortless. She has managed to step back into the world of acting while still keeping her family as her top priority. Her story is one of love, sacrifice, and balance, something that is often rare in Hollywood. While Lulu Spencer's story is filled with heartbreak, resilience, and struggles, Havens' real-life story is one of careful choices, unwavering commitment, and a deep appreciation for the people she loves most. And now that she's back in the acting world, fans can't wait to see what's next for her. Final thoughts, what's next for Lulu Spencer? Now that Alexa Havens has returned to television, the big question remains, what does the future hold for Lulu Spencer? Will she continue to rebuild her life, or is there more drama heading her way? Given General Hospital's history, there's no doubt that Lulu's journey is just getting started. What do you guys think? Will we see a full redemption arc for Lulu? Could she find love again, or will she face even more challenges in the coming episodes?
Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye.